Hey there, Jeff Sauer here, and I've been on a little bit of a roller coaster. I've tried to make this video 5 different times. I've been postponing it for months. I've made some starts and some stops, and I'm finally ready to show it to you, even though it's not complete, even though this is probably a fail right now and not a win, because I think we can all learn something from it. And it's actually pretty cool, but it's only pretty cool sometimes. And so, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take a YouTube video and automatically turn it into a blog post, meaning that it's a expert written blog post that matches the voice that I've been putting on my blog for years, without all the work. Make it sound like Jeff from the content I have and turn that into a beautiful blog post that I can put onto the Profit School website, to our Measure You website, to any website, really. And it's something that I aspire that you can use too, using both the custom GPT for the blog writer that I'm looking at, or an automation that we're going to be releasing to Profit School Pro members, or a done for you service. Because I actually think that this is worth its weight in gold if you can make this happen, where any piece of content you create, any video you have, turns into a blog post. And so it's pretty cool when it works. It doesn't work every single time. 50% of the time it works every single time. And I think it's going to have some fun with it. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'm going to share with you what I've built, some of the trials and tribulations, the intent, and where we see this thing going. And hopefully you're going to have as much fun with this as I am having with building it. So you can see here we are in ChatGPT, and what I did was I uploaded a bunch of blog posts. You can see these are from earlier in the year that I wrote at Profit School. Now, David Van He, who is an excellent writer, wrote these for us. He's somebody who was a student of ours at Measure You, great guy, and he was writing for us for a while and did a great job. And so I wanted to train. And he wrote for the Measure You blog, for the Profit School blog, all over the place. So if you need a good writer, David Van He is awesome. Check him out. But we wanted to see if we can automate a lot of the good stuff with blogging and see how far we can get. And so we say, I want to create a blog post that matches my writing style of the blog every single time. I want to turn it into a custom. So the idea is I wanted to turn this into a custom GPT, who I am, and so on. So I started with wanting this to be a bot where I could just put the details in place and it would generate a bot. And it created that. Jeff's blog post generator created all this stuff. And I ended up taking this thing, maybe not right away, but you can see it did all these things that I asked it to do. It understands the voice, it understands who the person is, and it even wanted to do, so here's the instructions. I said, okay, let's do a sample video to blog first. So before we create all these instructions and formalize them, I need to normalize the result. Now, in our brain framework from Profit School, then the last step is called normalize. So it's what's the benefit of what I'm developing here, of the bot. What's the research I need to train this thing on? What's the architecture? How do I put it together? What is the instructions that I put into a GPT? And then how do I normalize this thing? So the brain framework has those different steps. And so I wanted to normalize before I go create a bot. Now, this is a pretty common thing you'd want to do. You want to get consistent results before you go automate something. If you've ever listened to me, if you've ever watched anything by me or read my newsletter, I harp on this all the time because it's so important. You can't automate something that's not proven. You only can automate things that have been proven or that have been seen through to completion. And we're not completed yet, right? We haven't even written something there. Like, we want to create a custom GPT. It's like, what are we creating a custom GPT on? That doesn't make sense. Like, a custom GPT to do what? So we need to get a result. Okay, so there's my little rant. So let's do a sample blog video first. So I put a YouTube video in here. And what it says is, stop attracting candidates, start repelling the wrong ones. Now, anytime you see stop and start, you know that it's written by AI. Everything says stop, and it's so annoying. And it's like candidates and all that stuff, tired of bad hires. And so this first iteration isn't even worth talking about because it pulled from the wrong video. Okay. And then it's like, okay, so now let's start, let's focus on how to create AI agents from N8N. And again, it just made stuff up. It just made everything up. This is not what my video is about. You pull in videos from other websites. You're like searching the internet. Now, one of my team members, Manisha, she just told me right before I recorded this video that the problem is that I didn't give it enough information. And so it's pulling from the internet. And so in this case, the URL was not enough. And I learned that they actually can't learn from a YouTube video. Now, eventually they say like, hey, I'll transcribe the video, blah, 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 blah. And they try to do that, but then they put in placeholders and they couldn't get to that point. So again, it's like, how do you know, I'm starting to repeat myself, but again, they just kept on screwing up. There's a lot of screw ups to get into this thing. This is a pretty long scroll because it screwed up more times than it did well. Okay, so it's like you didn't say what you were going to do. You said you'll transcribe the video, but you didn't. And then, so then I say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't actually transcribe this thing. Okay, then so they finally got to this point, right, where they can, they not. I told them not to search the internet. Okay, so they get in there, and this is actually what I talked about: how to build an agent with no code required. And so they started writing this thing, and it ended up being okay. However, they only pulled in the title of the video. This is the video. So if I were to go in and watch this video right here, that is the name of the video, but none of the rest of it. They pulled it through, but they didn't bring any of the other details in place. Okay. So again, I'm learning a lot about ChatGPT's capabilities. They say they can do something, but they can't. So so it's generic, and it's like, how do you actually get me to be there? Here's the honest situation. I don't have the ability to watch or listen to YouTube videos. Even though there's transcriptions in YouTube that they can pull from and stuff like that, they didn't. They said they couldn't do it. So then they said, okay, upload an SRT file or a text file. So we've been using SRT files for our captions on here. Like that's how we get this text in place. I was like, okay, well, we can just do that. So I said, here's the SRT file. And apparently they couldn't get it in Google Drive. So I just uploaded it directly, finally. Okay. And it says turn your course, and they create a title and everything. Turn your course into a 24/7 AI coach, no code required. And this is good, pretty good content. It's a little thin, but it is at least based on what I've actually built. Okay, so it's thin, but it's based on the actual video. So at least we got to to a certain point here. Okay, and I said your writing style is good, but it feels like I need to be more elaborate. So let's go over 1,000 words. Okay. So we started doing that. And so it expanded, it added in and got in place. It put, it's getting better. Okay. Now, as the parts of it, and this is true to the spirit of my video. It truly is a transcription. Now, I should note that in the past, I paid somewhere around $100 to $200 for this level of transcription in the past. People taking screenshots and transcription. So I've paid this. And if I'm doing a video a week and I have multiple brands, that's like $800 to $1,000. I've paid like $3,000 in a month for people to transcribe videos that I did. So this is a huge win if we can have this done as well, if not better, and put into a blog post because it's fast. You don't have to worry about turnarounds and inaccuracies and stuff like that. So it's getting there. This is something that I've paid $120 for, and we're there. It's getting a lot better. How many words? 1,133 words. Okay, so I want to make some more refinements. So how do you do the post slug? Here's my standards for that. How do you do the keyword stuff? Making sure that it's keyword friendly. Okay, so they're going to adjust the template, and now they're going to give us what we have. So here's our primary keywords, secondary keywords, and so on. And so okay, let's make the primary keyword circle AI agent. And so then it does everything. It adjusts the URL to be what you want, or it gives us some suggestions. And I say, okay, proceed with this keyword and a slug. Now I'm like pretty much to the point where I have a blog post that I can use. Build a circle AI agent for your course, no code required. Needed. Okay, all the different metadata that you need, and it goes through here. It even says watch the full walkthrough. It embeds, it embed the YouTube video in there. It has the screenshots. It has secondary keywords. It's and it's true to the spirit of what we were talking about. Now it's a little bit thin on the content. I don't think that the number of words is there, but it has an FAQ in there, so it's getting to the point where it's doing a really good job. Okay, but it took away things. It's taking away the key takeaways. It's taking away the table of contents. Let's get that. I had thought that I had trained it on these things with the articles I uploaded, but it obviously wasn't doing it. So okay, let's do it. Intro is unchanged. Here's the key takeaways section. Here's a table of contents. It's starting to look like a really good blog post. Okay, let's always add captions and alt text for our posts, so they're getting that. let's write out the whole circle AI agent post based on this feedback. So this is, I'm finally getting, okay, they didn't. They say, oh, I see. This is working in like a side post. So let's see. It would be updated in. Usually, there's like a second window where this post is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to see it. I'm not sure. It's not showing it into me right now. I'll create a document. Okay, so this is where it is. It's in this document, but for some reason, it's been removed from that document. So let's keep on going. Let me see if I just need to refresh this. Yeah, here's the document. Okay, cool. Actually, no, that's not the document. So it does create documents. I'm not sure why it's not showing me. Maybe it's like a caching thing. I started this project a long time ago. And again, I've been punting it for a long time because I haven't gotten what I wanted yet out of this thing, or hadn't yet. But anyways, so we keep on going. It has all the things we want in place. It's a pretty good blog post. Okay, so we added those sections in there. Now, I'm not sure why it's not showing me the doc. A little frustrating because it did create the document, but then it was removed from the conversation. It's like still alphabet, here's how you do the placeholder. So it added those back into place. Okay, I think we have something really good. So you see how many iterations this took? 20 plus different chats to get to that point. I want to turn this with thorough instructions to get this output. So then they gave me the new ChatGPT. This is after I had normalized. Honestly, if I wouldn't have gone through this 20 times, I'd be so frustrated with what I was doing. And it says, here's what you need to do. Okay, instructions. And this is something we're going to use when we write blog posts. Okay, moving forward, this is how we're going to do it. Links and so on. SEO stuff. Okay, so then it creates a ready to paste template. So then you can put this in place, and this ends up becoming this is the template that you would use in order to build on any bot, whether it's in ChatGPT or somewhere else. So we're getting to the point where we have something ready to go for blog posts. Okay, now, but I started using this as a custom GPT. It was very inconsistent. So how do I get that to work? It was just being super lazy and super boring. It's like, hey, thanks for the honest feedback. Custom GPT instructions aren't followed as strictly as you think. That was a pretty big reveal for me that they don't follow it. It's like, okay, well then can I even trust ChatGPT? Should I be using Claude for this thing? Should we be building out our automations? Yeah, the answer is even if I get a good output here, which we've gotten some decent outputs, we're probably going to have to take more control over this. And there's I don't know if it's going to be a part 2 of this video, but there will be a second video on what happens when we turn this thing into an N8N automation that just works, because we're going to be normalizing the results, making this a lot better. And this isn't something like I said, Profit School Pro members are going to just be able to install it and deal with. Like, you don't want to spend the countless hours that I have trying to figure this thing out and fix it. Once we fix it, we'll just give you the results. So you can turn any video you have into a blog post. Okay, so here's the template and what we're doing. And then you can actually, once you get the result though, you can start to export it as Gutenberg blocks. So I can copy this thing and paste it into my blog, and it'll just work. It'll just be a blog post in my blog. I could also do Markdown. So if you're using a CMS that allows for Markdown, you can make that happen too. Now, here's the cool thing is that I started to say, okay, well, now that we've got these instructions in place, let's do another SRT file and create another video. And so here's an example of one. Build your dream business model. This is based on a video I did. Takeaways, table of contents. It has everything in there that I talked about in the video. It has the keyword stuff, dream business model. So there you go. Whether it's the right keyword or not, it's another story. But then I can export it as Gutenberg, and I can put this in place. And I have, actually I had an error posting it into Gutenberg, but I can at least create this blog post that looks good based on uploading a file. That's how well we train this GPT now, or this ChatGPT chat. Now I haven't turned it into a custom GPT at this point while I'm doing this because it was inconsistent, but we're going to basically bypass that altogether and create the agent that just does this for us. And the agent can even post it into WordPress or post it wherever we want it to go. So that's the cool thing about automating, is that we can an agent versus a custom GPT or a bot. So we got this stuff in place, and that's really where I left off. Like, and then I can just start uploading new stuff. So here's an SRT file, write another blog post, and it does. It writes another blog post. And so I can just do that right now. So I can go into any of the files that I've produced. Let me just find one. Okay, so I'm going to upload SRT file from another video that we've done. Actually, I'm going to do one for my Profit School YouTube channel. And I'm just going to see if we have any handy here. This is unplanned, but I want to show you how this works in real time because it is starting to get locked in. So I'm going to find one that has an SRT. Okay. So this is maybe not the best one, but it's about our Profit School community. Okay. So it uploads it, and then let's just see what happens. So it's going through, it knows the timestamps. This is based on text entirely, not even on the video. I didn't even put the YouTube link in place. Okay. So the AI first business made easy with Profit School. Then it's AI first business. Okay. So watch the full. Okay. So interesting. So you see how it says watch the full video? It's skipping. It's just going right to the part. Jeff introduces the movement. Key takeaways. Most service business. Yeah. Okay. So this is fine. What is an AI first business? And it goes through, and it's, it just summarizes the video. This is probably not the best video because it's more of a sales video. But you see how fast it's just writing a blog post and working from the transcript. So there's not a lot of details in that one. How about what's holding you back from taking a vacation? Okay, so I have this one. And let's see this one. Okay, so this is a little bit longer, a little bit more meat on the bone. Vacation mindset block. So you can see it's not using the keywords how it should. And so I'll have to, we're going to keep on improving this thing. This is, I started this thing saying this is a fail, but it's got so much promise, and I couldn't reiterate that more. Like, this is so cool that it's writing a blog post based on my content. It's not, some of the other stuff's not that cool. Some of the other stuff's sort of annoying, honestly. But as you can see here, at least we know that we're on the right track. Okay, so this is where we give it feedback. This is the normalization step. So usually when I do these videos, I show you something that's like complete, but I think there is value in showing where things screw up. Like, why did you... Okay, how... Okay, so I'm gonna say, please improve this based on previous chats. And it's gonna rewrite it, and it's gonna get close to better. Now, this is not production ready. I wouldn't sell this to people. I wouldn't even use it on my own stuff if it's gonna be this bad. But you can see it already updated it. Vacation mindset block. That keeps us stuck. Intro. Have you ever found yourself daydreaming about a vacation only cancel it again because it's not the right, not alone? Okay, so that's getting better. Watch the full video, and then this is the thumbnail, and then you get into the takeaways, you get into the table of contents, and then it's getting there. It's adding more content. You see how it's expanding because I said more words. And then you just keep on vibing with this thing back and forth. Like, I know people think vibe coding might be funny or a stupid term. My wife doesn't really care for the word vibe coding, but this is what we're doing. We're just telling it, yeah, I don't know if I like your vibes you're throwing off right now. And it builds there. So if so honestly, this is as good as any blog post that I had put out there in the past. Because ultimately it's a better writer than me. I'm not the best writer in the world. So I might just clean this thing up and put it out there, or I might vibe a couple more to put it out there, or vibe a couple more times to get this thing onto the blog post. But if the idea is to take your video and turn it into blog content, we're getting there. As I show this thing, it's probably about 70%. Well, it's probably like 50% of the way there for the overall process. But the hard part's done, and that is that we've defined what's good and bad about a blog post. We have some instructions we can output. We have some outputs that can be verified, that were generated from AI, that my team members can look at. And there's nowhere to go from here but up. And so that's where I'm going to leave us. This is something that's not the best thing I've ever produced. I was so embarrassed about it that I kept on punting this thing a couple weeks in advance, but I just wanted to show you where it was. Because it's forcing me to address it. And we are going to be able to come back with another version of this thing, the more complete version. It's going to be way better. But if I didn't do this important step of normalizing it, getting some bad results and explaining things, then nobody would know how to build what was in my head. Now our team members can build this thing out because now they've seen enough information, they've seen enough output that they understand what I'm trying to do. So many people fail with automation, or so many people fail with doing anything with AI because they're not clear of what they want. And then yet they try to hire a developer or they try to hire somebody technical to do something, yet the requirements aren't clear, they're confusing, and they're just not all there. And so this is an important step for going to this place and making it happen. Now, I've done all kinds of automations that I've shown, all kinds of cool stuff. And it always starts with this step, which is me frustrated until I point that I get a decent enough result. Then somebody amplifying that result, automating it, and making it so I don't ever have to do it again. And that is what makes this fun. That's the joy in my job. It's a joy in experimenting with AI and automations. I don't know if I need to dwell on it any more than that. So thank you for watching this perspective of when things don't always go right, when things sometimes go horribly wrong, or they don't meet your expectations. That's where I'm leaving this one as I record this. But the next time I come on to talk about this specific topic, I know that what we have is going to crush it because we are always iterating in the background. So if you're interested in this thing, if you want to see the final result, make sure you subscribe to this channel and see what we're doing. And make sure that if you want the automation once it's ready, go to profitschool.com and even sign up for Profit School Pro, because that's where this is going to reside and it's going to be fun for you. Cheers.